Hello, it is Success Story Saturday, July 28th, 2018. Steve Sipress here, and where am I? I am on the way, I'm almost there, at no other than the way too sunny and incredibly hot Scottsdale location of the one and only Costco, which I believe will be appearing shortly ahead of me. And so I figured, what better subject for today's Success Story Saturday than the one and only co-founder of the Costco chain, legendary CEO, Jim Sinegal. Now, there's a number of reasons that he is legendary. Where do we start? Let's start at the start of Costco. Jim Sinegal started from the bottom, pretty much, on the loading dock at the first ever warehouse store location in San Diego in 1976, founded by a guy, fittingly, named Price, Saul Price. And 7 years there, Jim Sinegal worked his way all the way up to a VP of merchandising and operations, pretty much figuring out how to run the place, pretty much running the place. Then in 1983, after the 7 years there, he got together with who became his business partner. And look at this, I made some kind of a wrong turn, so now we're making a U-turn. An attorney and another retailing expert by the name of Jeffrey Brotman, who has now passed away, but they co-founded the first ever Costco location in Seattle, Washington, just outside of Seattle. And actually, a few years later, they moved the location, the headquarters of the corporation, to a town by the name of Kirkland, Washington. And look at that, my beautiful wife Michelle is here. So you might recognize the name Kirkland and Costco going together because that's the house brand, fittingly enough. You can guess which came first, or I'll just tell you. Of course, they named their house brand after the town that they were located in. They started that in 92, but getting back to 83, where Sinegal and Brotman started that Costco, and it just took off. And then the big turning point, the meteoric success, came about 10 years later in 1993, where Walmart was looking to merge their Sam's Club with Price Club. And that fell through. And sure enough, the bid went to Sinegal and Brotman. And so the Price Club merged with Costco in 1993. And my beautiful Michelle says, have fun shopping, which I will. And you know, my beautiful wife Michelle is up home with a family emergency. And so there I am. Can't remember the last time I alone went into Costco. Maybe it was to pick up one or two things or something for an event or something, but not to really, you know, I got to kind of get all kinds of stuff for the household. So this is going to be a fun adventure. But anyway, back to Jim Sinegal. So, all right, we are back again. Take two. Steve Sipress here now on the inside of Costco, and I guess that'll teach me to drive around on a day where the temperature's around 110 or something. And of course, since I can't stand air conditioning, I just have the windows open, but evidently my phone, which just overheated, does like air conditioning. And so now once we got inside here into the Costco, what do you know, phone is back functioning. So here we are with part two. So Jim Sinegal. So they started that first Costco, and they had a bunch of locations. Kevin is here. Happy birthday, Kevin. Good seeing you. And so then after a little while, they had that big merger with, became Price Costco. And then a few years later, like the Price people took off, and it just became just Costco. Dean Jackson is here. Wow, long time. Good seeing you, Dean. And so, here you see the old Kirkland meat. Costco, by the way, is the #1 seller of meat in the world. They are also the #1 seller of premium wines in the world, and a number of other things. They have 750 locations now in 11 countries, and their revenue is around $129 billion. They are firmly in the Fortune 500, all the way up at the number 15 spot. That is an amazing success story for a guy who started on the loading dock. And hi, Lee Werner, great seeing you. And give my best to Donna. And so, how did Jim Sinegal do it? Well, here's the deal. He's an ultra renegade CEO. He said, I'm not going to do it like the big fat cat CEOs. I'm not going to take a $20 million a year salary, and I'm not going to pay my people as little as possible. Jim Palmer's here. Great seeing you, Jim. He is known for paying high wages and especially great benefits, including an amazing health care plan. And therefore, he has amazingly loyal workers who stay with him forever. In fact, there are people, as the story goes, that started collecting shopping carts in the, out in the parking lot that are now VPs of the company. People just don't leave. The turnover rate is like 1/5 of like a Sam's Club or a Walmart or pretty much any retail store. And look at that. We're over in the premium wine section. Speaking of wine, Costco being the world's #1 seller of premium wine and of premium meat. In the meat section too. 2 sections that I am never in because I do not eat meat and I do not drink wine. But doing this video, I figured I'd get somewhere that's a little less crowded. But let me finish this off and actually start my shopping. So here I am in sections I've never been in. Meat and vodka. But anyway, do they have everything here or what? But Jim Sinegal, also well known for taking about a $350,000 a year salary. Now, of course, he owned a whole bunch of stock. He's worth about $2 billion now. I think he's 82 years old. He retired a few years ago, so he's doing quite well. But, he didn't do it by greedily, he always said, I wanted my salary set at 12 times the average worker on the floor in the store. And that's a model for other CEOs, almost none of which do it. They all make 1,000 times the person on the store or more. And Jim Palmer says, no meat or wine. What about chocolate? I love chocolate. Today, I think, is National Milk Chocolate Day, is it not? Of course, I don't do dairy, so I'm not into milk chocolate, but I like pure chocolate. But anyway. So Jim Sinegal, another thing he's really famous for that I really love. He was known to visit every single one of the locations personally once a year and inspect them himself. And walk around with a little name tag that just said Jim. And didn't say I'm the CEO. He just looked like any other shopper until, of course, he's walking around with the manager and a clipboard, in which case he still just looked like, one of the floor managers. So awesome. Went to every location every year himself. Show me a CEO that does that. When you see the show, The Undercover Boss, right, where the CEO goes to visit locations, it's like, ooh, I've never been in a location. I've never flipped a burger. I didn't even know how this works. That show always amazes me. Like, they just hire a CEO. As Jim Sinegal says, we promote almost exclusively from within. Here's another thing. Prices at Costco. Oh, my beautiful wife Michelle is back on part 2 of the video. So, honey, I'm in this section that I've never been in. It's the fine wines and the meats. Clearly, we're never over here. Anyway. But I figure this is a good place for the video. Not a lot of people around. Ooh, look at this. Chateau something or other. See, look at that. $42 for a bottle of wine or whatever that is. So, Costco, that's like the best price on that wine, but it's fine wines. See, I've always said that's what Costco's about to me. Like, you can get socks at a dollar store. And, of course, they got holes in them a week later. Here, you get the black toe socks, but you get them for the best price. So you don't get the cheapest stuff here. The average member of Costco makes $156,000 a year. Just incredible. It's got to be the highest per capita income of any company's customers. And everyone in here is a member. It's members only. It's a club. Which, by the way, Costco keeps its prices low because they have an unheard of markup in the retail industry of about 8 to 10%. That's it. In other words, they pretty much don't make any money on anything here. Their house brand a little bit more, but it's their house brand, so it's still incredible prices. I think that's marked up to like 15%. But retail is well known to mark things up 2-3 times. So how do they make their money? Well, 80% of their profits comes from memberships. Speaking of which, part of the reason I'm here, we got in the mail our renewal for our membership for Costco. So I'll be heading on over to the membership renewal area or whatever and renewing our membership. And so Jim Sinegal, everyone loved him. We love Costco. Everyone loves Costco. All the workers love Jim Sinegal. He's a legend. Every CEO was jealous of him, how much everyone loved him, and how well he ran the ship. And even his head office of the company was well known to be a bare bones thing. Here in the Costco, they have skylights, which they're more towards the middle of the store, but up in the ceiling, you can see some skylights up there. And they have a whole system. Oh, they're right above me. Crying out loud, there's a skylight. So they have some kind of system that monitors the amount of light coming in and turns off the electric lights and dims them to keep the amount of light, with cutting down the costs. You know, another way is they don't stock products on the shelves, most of them. They're just, there you see them. They just take the pallets right off the truck. They take the pallet jack and the stuff is right on the pallet. Boom. So he's retired now. The Costco is run like a machine. Members love it. It's a great experience. The customer service is second to none. I mean, there's none of this, where's your receipt even, sometimes. And sometimes we return stuff we bought like years before. I remember when we stopped running our Chicagoland's Sharpest Entrepreneurs group, we went and we had a whole bunch of like stuff. Plastic forks and knives and plates and cups and I don't even know what else. And I was like, honey, you know what? Costco's always awesome. See if you can just take it back there. And they took it back. We bought it years before. We didn't have a receipt. We whatever. And, you know, they were like, sure, here's the $30. Which, what do you think? We put it in our pocket? Of course not. We go right to the store. We give it right back. I mean, that's how it is. So everyone loves Costco. Some people spend gobs of money in here. Businesses are well known to come in here. Restaurants to just buy, you know, pallets of candy bars and put them in their vending machines and buy all kinds of meat and other products here. And of course, when you see someone with a big family, they have 2 or 3 shopping carts, and they have the flatbed carts just full of, you know, you can't buy a gallon of milk here. I think you have to buy a minimum of 2 or 4 or something ridiculous. Again, I don't drink milk, so I don't know, but I just know that, you know, when I see something that's big, my beautiful wife Michelle would tell you, I just say, oh, that's Costco size. Like, everything is a huge size. Oh, here's another key to their success. Like a Walmart, typical supermarket, a Walmart will carry about 140 to 150,000 SKUs, 140,000 different items in the store. Costco carries about 4,000. Okay, that's it. So there's only one kind of anything other than the house brand, the Kirkland brand. But otherwise, if you want a certain, you know, whatever, bag of chips, there's only one brand. There's not 8 brands of the same type of chip, and then you have to choose, and they have to duke it out for the lowest price. No, that's why they get the volume is unbelievable. 750 stores selling one brand at the special Costco size. So the companies make something in a special big size, and they mark it way down. You know, there was a famous story years ago, you might have heard of, with Coca-Cola, where Coca-Cola played a game of chicken with Costco and lost miserably. As the story goes, they refused to cut their price down to where Costco wanted them to lower the price. So Costco just said, you know what? We're not selling Coke anymore. See ya. And it took like a week for Costco to make a deal, lower their price, and suddenly they were back in the for Coca-Cola rather. Costco, Coca-Cola, what? I'm all messed up with the C's, but Coca-Cola blinked and lost that game of chicken like immediately. They were like, holy crap, what did we just do? They lowered their price. They got their stuff back into the Costco. So Jim Sinegal, just awesome CEO, founder of Costco. He's the success story for today's Saturday. I suggest you look him up, learn from how he ran a business, because that's how you do it, folks. You have your customers love you, your employees love you, you're loyal to them, they're loyal to you. Everybody's a customer for life, which is one thing he said. He said, I want to have a business that here 50, 60 years later. And of course, it's already been around for 40 or whatever. It'll be around a lot longer. And he said, so I'm going to pay high wages and high benefits, and people are going to call me crazy, and I'm going to take a low salary, and I'm going to work like a dog because I have an amazing work habit and work ethic. And I'm not going to be your typical ivory tower CEO. He answers his own phone, by the way. Doesn't even have someone screen call. Oh, he's retired. But when he was working, he was well known to answer his own phone. He says, yeah, you know, if one of my members has a problem in the store, don't you think they appreciate if I answer the phone myself? I'm like, you kidding? Well, of course they do, but like, holy cramola. So what a guy. An entrepreneur to aspire to. Hope all you out there take some motivation and some inspiration from Jim Sinegal. Jim Sinegal, the subject of today's Success Story Saturday from inside the Scottsdale location. One of 750. By the way, one location that still exists is that original Sol Price warehouse store in San Diego, which was in an airplane hangar once owned by Howard Hughes. There's a little Costco trivia for you. Just gave you a lot of Costco trivia. And that'll do it. I'm going to go shopping here. And my beautiful wife, Michelle, says, first of all, says hello to Jim Palmer. We love Jim. The first ever guest speaker at one of my Chicagoland Sharpest Entrepreneurs events in August 2009. Remember that, Jim? August 2009, my first ever guest speaker. Against the wishes of Bill Glazer, who said, don't have outside speakers. And I was like, I'm an independent business advisor. I'm going to do it my way. Oh, we're back. That's my cue to wrap it up. But Bill, I always ended every conversation in those days with Bill Glazer in one of two ways. Either he would say, prove me wrong, then go ahead, prove me wrong. Or number two, he would say, then we'll just have to agree to disagree. So whatever it was, again, talk about a renegade, right? I was like, I'm not going to do anything the way they suggest to do it, because out of like 100 chapter directors of that thing, like 95 of them dropped like flies. Like, just didn't work. But we got it working, and we helped a lot of people, and Jim was our first ever guest speaker to come in. And so we thank you for that, Jim, and it's great seeing you years later. And my beautiful wife, Michelle, says, Scottsdale store is the best. That's why I'm here. I listen. I remember you saying that. You went to whatever store was closer to us, and you said, next time I got to go back up to this one, because this is like in the north area of Scottsdale. And I was like, okay, so here we are. And it's very familiar to me because we lived right near here for a while. Now we live half an hour away, but, you know, half an hour once a month or so to get to the Costco and have a blast. I see the little people giving out, not little people, but they're giving out little samples of stuff. And the people giving out little samples. Although I don't know, maybe there's little people there that are giving out little samples. It'd be kind of fitting, I guess. Anyway, so I'm getting a little punch drunk here. That'll do it for today's Success Story Saturday. Got a lot of shopping to do. But I always love coming into a Costco, and I always remember fondly the amazing example set by today's Success Story Saturday subject, Jim Sinegal. Look him up, learn from him, get motivated, get inspired, and attempt to duplicate what he did. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow just to check in as always on Sunday Fun Day. Thanks everyone being here live. Thanks everyone watching on the replay. I will catch you tomorrow. Over and out from the Costco warehouse.